Ini Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وتعتبر في الصنائع and the kufu compatibility will be considered in occupations also. وهذا عند أبي يوسف ومحمد رحمه الله. And this is from صاحبين. وأن أبي حنيفة في ذلك روايتان. And Imam Boni in regards to that, there is two riwayats. ونبي يوسف أنه لا يعتبر إلا أن يفحش كالحجام والحائك والدباغ. And from Imam Yusuf that it will not be considered except if it is very very different, right? Like the hajjam, the cupper, and the weaver, and the dyer. So in other words, he's meaning that these are now very low occupations. So these type of men will not be compatible to a woman who's the daughter of a jeweler or something like that. You understand? وجه الاعتبار أن الناس يتفاخرون بشرف الحرف ويتعيرون بدناءتها. The reason for considerating occupations is that the people, they take pride with honorable occupations and they feel disgrace with its low occupation. وجه القول الآخر, and the reason of the other قول أن الحرفة ليست بلازمة is that the occupation is not binding. ويمكن التحول عن الخسيسة إلى النفيسة منها, and changing from a low occupation to a top occupation is possible. You understand? So therefore, this is the other. So the other view says that you won't take occupation into consideration because a person can be in a low occupation now and tomorrow he can have a top job. وإذا تزوجت المرأة ونقصت عن مهر مثلها فللأولياء الاعتراض عليها عند أبي حنيفة رحمة الله عليه. If a woman got married and she decreased from her mehri misal, then the wali has got the right to object against according to Imam Bonifa. Hatta yatimma laha mahru misliha aw yufarikaha, until the husband completes or until her mehri misal is completed for her or the husband separates from her. وَقَالَ لَيْسَ لَهُمْ ذَلِكَ, and Sahibain say they cannot object to that. وَهَذَا الْوَضْعُ إِنَّمَا يَصِحُ عَلَى قَوْلِ مُحَمَّدٍ على اعتبار قوله المرجوع إليه في النكاح بغير الولي. And this masla was said properly. Indeed, it is correct upon the call of Imam Muhammad, upon the consideration of his retracted towards statement in regards to nikah without a wali. So what they're saying here is that, see, Sahibain say the walis don't have the right to object here. So this masla will only be correct according to Imam Muhammad if you take that the fact that because he initially said that the marriage without a wali is not valid, right? So which means he retracted from that masla, and we agree, and so that's correct now that he retracted from that masla, and in other words, a nikah without the wali is valid, right? So and now he's also saying here what Imam Yusuf, that even so she goes ahead and she marries without the wali, that will be correct. And even if she decreases from a mehre misal, then the wali doesn't have the right to object, as long as she marries in kufu, right? Right. وَقَدْ صَحَّ ذَلِكَ, and that retraction is correct. You understand? وَهَذِهِ شَهَادَةٌ صَادِقَةٌ عَلَيْهِ, and this is a true testimony, test. Yeah, she marries herself and then she decreases from a mehri misal. You understand? So as long as she marries in kufu, then the walis don't have the right to object according to Sahibain. But according to Imam Bonifa, they've got the right to object. You understand it? So they're still speaking about this fact here that Imam Muhammad rahmatullah alayhi, this masla will only said correct if we take it that he retracted from his initial masla, which he said that she can't marry without a wali, because here she went away and married without the wali. Because here he's saying also that even the walis don't have the right to object to the fact that she decreased from a mehri misal. And هذه شهادة صادقة عليه, and this is a testimony which shows and is truthful and shows that he retracted. لهما أنما زاد على الأشرة حقها. So Sahibain's dalil to say why the wali can't object, right? That which increases over 10 is her right. وَمَنْ أَسْقَطَ حَقَّهُ لَا يُعْتَرَضُ عَلَيْهِ. And whoever drops off his right, it cannot be objected against him. كَمَا بَعْدَ التَّسْمِيَةِ. Just as if she dropped off, decreased the meher after the tasmiyah, then Imam Abu Hanifa rahmahullah says also there the wali can't object. So they say just as after the tasmiyah, the tasmiyah was on meher himself. After they got married, she said, okay, don't worry, give me just half. So there Imam Abu Hanifa rahmahullah also says now the wali can't object. You understand? So they're saying just as after tasmiyah, you also say the wali can't object. So likewise before tasmiyah, before mentioning the meher, if she drops off, why must a wali object? حنيفة أن الأولياء يفتخرون بغلاء المهور ويتعيرون بنقصانها. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi dalil is that the walis, they take pride in high mehers and they are disgraced with low mehers. فأشبه الكفاءة. So this resembles kufu. So the meher, high meher and low meher is just like kufu now, right? بخلاف الإبراء بعد التسمية. Then he answers that كما بعد التسمية. So he says contrary to making maaf after the tasmiyah or dropping off right after the tasmiyah, لأنه لا يتعير به, because there is no disgrace, there is no disgrace with this. You understand it? There is no disgrace. But the main thing is at the time when the nikah is done in the masjid, that's the time the people are listening how much is the meher. So this is something that people take pride in. So therefore the wali's got the right to object according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh, if a low meher is mentioned at that time. Afterwards she goes and drops off and makes maaf, half or three-quarter, the whole thing also, the walis don't have the right, and this is not considered disgraceful. Right? Yeah. Basically tasmiyah, at the time of tasmiyah. وَإِذَا زَوَّجَ الْأَبُ إِبْنَتَهُ الصَّغِيرَةَ ونقص عن من مهرها أو ابنه صغير وزاد في مهر امرأة جاز ذلك عليهما. And when the father marries off his small daughter and he decreases from her meher misal, or he marries off his his small son and he increases in the meher of that son's wife, then that is permissible upon the small boy and small girl. ولا يجوز ذلك لغير الأب والجد. And that is not permissible for besides the father and grandfather. Now the father and grandfather has got the power to decrease the meher misal or to increase over the meher misal for his son. You understand? وهذا عند أبي حنيفة. That's according to Abu Hanifa. قال لا يجوز الحق والزيادة إلا بما يتغابن الناس فيه. And Saiben say that the increase and the decrease and increase is not permissible except with that which the people normally increases or decreases with. So in other words, a small amount if they do it, and it's common that you don't decrease so much. Maybe misal is 10,000, you made 9,500. You understand it? Then there's no harm there, Saiben said. But if you're going to do a heavy increase or a heavy decrease, yeah, then they say that's not permissible. Mana hadal kalam. أنه لا يجوز العقد عندهما. The meaning of the speech is that the transaction is not correct according to صاحبين. لأن الولاية مقيدة بشرط النظر. Because this authority that the father and grandfather got is restricted with the condition of compassion. فإن فواته يبطل العقد. So at the time of compassion not being there, because by increasing and decreasing so much, they are not showing compassion now. Then the transaction is batil. وهذا لأن الحط عن مهر المثل ليس من النظر في شيء. This is because decreasing from meher misal is not compassion in anything, right? By decreasing, so now your small daughter is going to get less now, right? And it's a heavy decrease, right? Kama fil bay, just as in bay, we also say the father and grandfather can't do it in sale. You sell the small child stuff, you can't do it with the khabane faish. You understand? A heavy decrease or heavy increase, whatever you're buying or selling. وَلِهَذَا لَمْ يَمْلِكْ ذَلِكَ غَيْرُهُمَا. And then therefore he says that other than the father and grandfather doesn't have the power to do that. Doesn't have the power to do that. وَلِأَبِي حَنِيفَةَ أَنَّ الْحُكْمَ يُدَارُ عَلَى دَلِيلِ النَّظْرِ. Imam Bani Rahmah says the ruling rotates upon the proof of compassion. وَهُوَ قُرْبُ الْقَرَابَةِ. And it is the closeness of the relationship. You know, they're very close. Father and grandfather are very close. وفي النكاح مقاصد تربو على المهر. And in nikah, there are other objectives which supersede the meher, which are higher than the meher. أما المالية هي المقصودة في التصرف المالي. As of wealth, it is the objective in a monetary transaction, right? والدليل أدمناه في حق غيرهما. Okay, so let's first explain this here now. So they're saying here that the proof of compassion is there. It's father and grandfather doing the transaction. And wealth is not the primary thing in a nikah. There are other objectives. So it's possible they could have decreased the meher misal to catch the boy. You understand it? Entice him. And he must have seen as a low meher, they're ready to do it, and then he got married because they saw this was the good boy. You understand it? So it's possible they could do that. But in a sale, they couldn't do it. Why? Because in a sale, the objective is money. You understand? But in nikah, that's not the objective. Then we answer this, وَلِهَذَا لَمْ يَمْلِكْ ذَلِكَ غَيْرُهُمَا وَالدَّلِيلُ عَدَمْنَاهُ فِي حَقِّ غَيْرِهِمَا. And that proof, which proof? The being close relative, we have not found it in the right of other than two. In other words, why can't other than two do the same thing? Why are they not allowed? You also say they're not allowed to do it, that they can't decrease the meher or increase. You understand it? Other than the father, grandfather. So he said the reason is because they don't have qurbul qaraba. The reason is because they don't have qurbul qaraba. Leave it till there.